Hi, my name is Markus List, and this is a short video tutorial on KeyPathwayMinerWeb. What you can see here is the front page of KeyPathwayMinerWeb at keypathwayminer.combio.sdu.dk, and you can see here we have right here a link to the Cytoscape app to download of the standalone version, and also if you like to use our work you can cite our paper. So now what you would typically do with KeyPathwayMiner is you would upload your own dataset. You can do that by clicking on the Datasets tab. You can see here the default datasets that we have already included, and you can easily upload a new dataset just by clicking on to upload. Then you would select a dataset from your local drive. You would give it a name, my test dataset or something like that. Give it a description, this is my data. And then finally you would upload it. And as you can see here, there's a notification that the dataset has been uploaded successfully. You can also see it listed here. Any data or networks that you upload to KeyPathwayMinerWeb will only be visible during the session, which you can see here. There's a session ID. And this also means that you will lose this information as soon as the session expires. If you want to keep the results of your analysis and also the datasets for a longer time, you should click here on create an account and create a user account. Then you can sign into your account, and you can later on go back and you still have the data and the results available. So okay, in any case you can also delete the data by clicking on this button here, which we won't do now. Or you can move over to networks, and again here you have the choice. Either you use one of the default networks, they all use Entrée gene IDs, but what you could also do is upload a new network that uses either a different identifier or is made for a different species than human. Alright, once you have network and datasets in place, you can click on the Run button, and you will have here a guide through the options that you need to set. First of all, of course, you need to select your dataset. You can also select several datasets. This has the advantage that you can then link multiple studies together, and here you have to choose whether you want to or AND connect them. So if you OR connect them, that means if a gene is active in either of the datasets that you added, it will be selected, and if you select AND, it means that in both datasets a gene has to be active to be considered. You can also add positive or negative nodes, where positive nodes are nodes that or genes that will be considered no matter what. So even if they are not in your data set but in the network, they will be considered. And negative nodes, that will be genes that you want to be ignored. You can also upload a file for those or enter them directly here, but then you need to make sure that you have only one gene per line. Okay, great. So on the next page you can select the network, the name of the run if you want to customize it. You can choose a search algorithm, where we right now only support greedy search, a search strategy where you can select one of the two search strategies implemented in KeyPathwayMiner. One is INES, which stands for individual node exceptions, or GLONE, which stands for global node exceptions. So in individual node exceptions, this L parameter here, which defines when a case is active, is considered for each gene individually. So let's say we have here an L value of 5%. That means a gene is considered active if not more than 5% of the samples were inactive for this gene. Then for INES you can also choose K, and K is the number of node exceptions. That means KeyPathwayMiner is allowed some additional nodes that it can add to connect smaller solutions into larger ones. Then another important point is to remove border exception nodes. This means exception nodes that are just on the periphery of a solution and don't really connect to anything else can be removed. Then there's also the questions how you would like to treat unmapped nodes, and you can either add them to negative or to the positive lists. Finally, you can also select the number of pathways that you would like to compute. That is the number of solutions. Finally, if you have selected everything that you need, you can again click on Next, and then you will get a review of the options, and you can basically check again if everything that you selected was actually what you wanted. And when you're done with that, you can click here on this big green Start button, and you will then automatically switch over to the Results tab here. Here, all your jobs in KeyPathwayMinerWeb are listed, also the finished ones of this session. If you're logged in as a user, you will also be able to see old runs here. You can see there's a progress bar, and you can see what KeyPathwayMiner is doing right now in the backend. If there are many jobs on KeyPathwayMinerWeb, then you can also see your place in the queue. You can also click on Setup Review, and you can again see the options that you chose for this one run. And after a little while, you can see that your run is done, and then you will get a See Results button. Clicking on that button gives you the results page where you can see the extracted key pathways. So here you can again see the K and L values that you chose. If you decide to go for a ranged run between several parameters, you can change this parameter here with a slider. You can substitute node labels. That means you can replace, for example, the entree IDs with gene symbols. So let's just look here at the pathways table, where you can see the top 5 results, solutions that you have found, with the average expression and information content, the number of nodes and edges. And now by just clicking on one of the solutions, we will get an interactive visualization that allows us to pan and zoom into and out again. And you see now it's the entree gene symbols that we get here. Entree gene ID, sorry. What you can now do is also click on this button, Show Union Network. And this is a quite nice feature where we take all of the solutions and we put them in a so-called union graph. So the results are merged, and nodes are colored according to how often they appear in the solutions. For example, here the red nodes, they were found in all 5 solutions. So now we can also try the node label substitution. We can check this, that we want to substitute, and as a source we use entree ID, and we would like to have gene symbols instead. After doing this, we can press here the Update Network and Table button, and this takes a little bit longer because actually the gene IDs will now be replaced using a web service. And if you have a lot of genes in your solution, this can take a while. So now here you can see the result and interesting genes in that. Again, we can click on Show Union Network, and then the same thing will be calculated for the union network. This takes a little while, as I said, because now we also have more nodes in the solution. Yeah. So now we can basically find out which genes are involved in the experiment that we were looking at. And we can also export the node IDs of this shown graph for further analysis in a different tool, or we can export the current graph as a Cytoscape ZIF file and then continue working in Cytoscape. Yeah, with that I would like to end the tutorial, and thank you for your attention.